He's freed the slaves! You'll pay for that, maggot!
Will I? If you scum have any sense at all, you'll stand aside. Let me go drive a blade through your master's throat, and I'll forget I saw you.
Oh, certainly. We'll sit back and let you stroll upstairs to kill our leader. Would it help if we drew you a map to his room? I wasn't serious, you idiot. We're going to kill this intruder and go back to our drinking. He's just one man. He can't beat all of us.
Look around. The odds are not so much in your favor. There's still a chance for you to run.
What are you talking about, fool?
You haven't noticed my partner over there watching us? He spent his entire lifetime learning how to kill dogs like you. This is your last chance. You haven't noticed my partner over there watching us? Don't let her grace and beauty fool you. She's deadly. This is your last chance to get out of here alive.
So, the thief brought a friend. That just means you won't die alone. Attack!
My name is Sky. It's good to see there's someone else in this place who can't stand these slaving dogs. We make quite the pair. Indeed, I find I'm just not saved enough these days. Shame that. If you're gonna kill me, I say we save it for a big stunt and make it worthwhile. Besides, I have something very important to accomplish before I die. It was obvious you weren't with the pirates. Why not deal with them quickly? There's bigger game above us. Speaking of which, there's a very secure and equally intimidating gate blocking the way. If we work together, though, it'll be simple to crack. The door at the top of this stair is locked through a fairly ingenious mechanism. Gao's engineer, Kang the Mad, designed it for security. Kang the Mad is a crafty fellow. The door requires two to unlock it. Up high there is a platform with a release lever. The door must be operated while the lever is held forward. There used to be a sentry up there who handled that kind of thing, but, he had an accident. I can climb up and pull the lever easily enough. You can open the door when it's unlocked. My best guess would be guards willing to die for their master. You shouldn't have too much trouble helping them reach that goal. I'll admit it would seem suspicious to me, too. The thing is, I know how long I spent tracking this place down. Things like how to reach the upper levels of this place despite that security door. I'm here on a personal matter. A man in this place took something very valuable from me, and I intend to repay him the favor. It sounds almost like you're familiar with him. If I had more time, I'd want to know what brought you here. I expect it's quite the tale. Yes, I hunt Gao the Greater, though I will not say why. It is a personal matter. I will not say, not until Gao the Greater has paid in full. I won't be stopped now that I'm this close, and luckily you're here. That'll make it easier to reach the upper levels where he hides himself away. As I said, Gao the Greater took something valuable from me, and he deserves to have that favor repaid. A good question. It's always wise to be on your guard in places like this. Rest assured, I have no intention of harming you. You're here for your reasons, and I'm here for mine. Somehow I doubt they conflict. Besides, we'll need each other's help to get through that door. Oh, I don't know. They're good with knots. Coming from you, that's a tempting offer. I'm a fool to turn you down. But I think what I've come here to do is something I must do alone. As much as I would value your company, I'm afraid I must decline. I've come here to do something for myself, and I must do it alone. Who knows? Maybe the fates will throw us together again. Until that time, there's a door we should deal with. It's funny what things you can learn if you just ask at the right time, like when you have a knife to someone's throat. Still don't trust my intentions? Have a little faith that sometimes fate provides answers when they're needed most. Either way, we need to deal with that door. I should go now, but I have to ask in case we never meet again. Where did you study? He must have been a genius. You fight like no one I've seen before. Watching you fight, I just had to ask. Your technique is like no other I've seen before. Ooh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to overstep the bounds of our relationship. I simply had to ask. Your technique is like nothing I've ever seen before. I've studied the techniques of friends and foes alike. No one I've ever met fights like you do. It's subtle, but your movements bait your foes into seeing an opening that isn't there. It's like a clever trap. I'm sorry, I'm wasting time neither of us can spare. I'll get ready and pull the lever when you're near the door. Good luck with whatever brought you to this place. My question is, since it's so clear Gao is connected to the assassins, could their order have similar associations with the whole slave market? Of course, I didn't know about the direct connection at the time, but I did find some tenuous links to Gao the Greater. How'd I know you'd be deadly in a fight? You'll have to accept my apologies for dragging you into that, but I can't afford to be stopped. Not now. Once the door is open, we can go our separate ways. I have my goals, and I'm sure you have yours. Since we both have much to do, why don't I go and lock the door now? Never fear, there are people I mean to harm, but you are not one of them. I'll pull the lever once you're in position by the door. We should get back to town and be on our way. A confusing man, that Zoo. I wonder if he even knows what side he's on. I would not want to own the guilt for such an act. I pity you. We could rush them while they're still hurt. Then again, they haven't spotted us.
I'm not afraid. I've got Yushin to play with. And to hurt forever!
Why would you do that? You could have helped that girl. Instead, you made her worse. Let us not torment this man. He is broken. Leave him be.
At least your companion has some honor. Does it make you feel good to say such things to me?
Dead already. Damn it all. What man could remain constant under the scrutiny of such beauties? Still, you will find me a true companion. I wanted nothing more than to watch this man die. It matters because he deserved to die by my hands. No, that's not right. I should be thanking you. Besides, after I left you, I stumbled across something just as important. After I left you, I stumbled across some very interesting documents. Perhaps I spent too long poring over them, but I couldn't resist. Trust me, I didn't waste my moments. I stumbled across something very important, evidence that changes everything. Let me explain why I'm here. That should clarify things. You saw with your own eyes that these pirates were collecting slaves, right? True enough. I have a particular hatred for slavers. My search led me here, to the lair of Gao the Greater. His men took my daughter, and I meant to even the score. On my way up here, I stumbled across records that show that this goes beyond Gao. The Lotus Assassins are his primary buyers. Is that so? There can be no doubt, then. This goes beyond Gao the Greater. I have my vengeance, but how many others have suffered as I have because of the Lotus Assassins? Do you mean to go further with this? I would join you. Only a fool would oppose the Lotus Assassins, but two fools working together stand a better chance than one. It'll be an honor to join you. Oh, and I stumbled across a little something on my way up here. It's probably something you need. Collecting them like bad habits, are you? I hate to be pushy, but I have a right to see this through. You did steal Gao from me, after all.
I don't know if I trust this man, but we can't afford to turn away potential allies, not with what lies ahead.
Your companion's ability to judge character is matched only by her beauty. I may not be the most constant of men, but I am true. If you are planning to take on the servants of Death's Hand, you'll need all the help you can get. Only if I can watch you as well. Fair is fair, after all. I have nothing to hide. My motives are plain, and our causes are aligned. I assure you I will be as devoted and capable as any of your other companions.
Ha! If I could harness all that hot air, I could make a furnace to power the whole of the Imperial City. Well, if you're done with all the talking, I have to go make the dragonfly ready for some flying.
Gao's slaving operation found its way to my home several years ago. I was away at the time, but my daughter was there. Those black-hearted bastards took my daughter, Pin Mei. They killed her for resisting them. She was my only child. I lost her mother when Pin Mei was born, but my daughter was something precious in return. The slavers offered no such consolation. It has been 3 years since I lost my daughter, and I have spent that time tracking down the men who took her. I am many things, but broken is not one of them. The past few years have forged my grief into resolve. Consider how our skills complement each other. I can get into places people would prefer I never see, and out of places people would prefer I never leave. There's also my knack for finding things. For instance, I was nosing around and stumbled across this.
Hey, that's the dust inductor I was hiding. The dragonfly can't fly without it. It was under the floorboards in my workshop last I looked.
In my mind, you stand the best chance of facing down Gao's masters. we also have a far greater chance of succeeding together rather than apart.
Your threat holds little power over me. I deserve to suffer. I deserve death. I would have done it myself were it not I were such a coward. Yes, do it. I only ask that you make it quick.
That was a little uncalled for. I'm no stranger to violence, but even I shy away from killing a defenseless man.
You cannot be seriously considering this, dooming the entire town for a few pieces of silver?
I hesitate to say this, but the money might be useful.
I am Merchant Xipeng. I work for Master Xiang. He's cutting me in for some of his business, yes? He sells the wine. I sell everything else.
This fellow may have taken a few too many blows to the head. I'm all for taking risk, but only when I'm making the rules. I have a hard time trusting the skills of this drunken boatswain.
I come from the inn, the Pilgrim's Rest. You must take a message to the town for us.
I've known a few fellows who sounded like this, and not one of them was right in the head. Well, that was exciting. The cavern started collapsing and I couldn't get back to you. On the upside, those rocks are remarkably good at dealing with cannibals. I think they're pretty much eliminated. The inn's certainly quiet.
Well, you, me, and the pretty boy. You must be wealthy to have your own eunuch.
Ha! You're gonna fit right in. You must like to dice, correct? Perfect. Absolutely perfect. It's funny how this cave felt less crowded before Whirlwind arrived. Wait, where did that rascal come from? Those tunnels in the walls? Look, you three go ahead and deal with Mother. I'll make sure we don't get completely cut off. What happened to this place? I passed through here not more than 6 months ago, and the trees were healthy. The air feels stagnant, too. There can't be many caravan drivers willing to travel the forest in this state. Wait, what's that noise?
Gaze upon our forms and bask in our glory. You should be honored to see the true strength of the cannibals.
I'm suddenly very glad I didn't order anything from the kitchen. The fighters here are skilled, but you would fare better than many of them. I hear the winnings are lucrative as well. I don't know who that man is, but he deserves to have something bad happen to him. We should see if there's a way we can help her.
Do not try to apprehend the Scourge of the South, but instead report what you've seen to the authorities immediately.
The Scourge of the South. I wonder how many people I'd have to steal from to get a name like that. With that description, they'll never find you.
These two scoundrels have eluded my best efforts, so I'm turning to bounty hunters. It's harder to run when your pursuers are not in a uniform.
This could be an entertaining diversion, and a good way to earn some extra silver. Interesting. I wonder how high he'll raise the bounty if you keep stringing him along.
I hope you're not here to pester me. I'm a very busy, important, and educated man, you know.
This answer should be interesting. I have a question I would ask of this scholar, if you would permit me. I was just wondering about the recent shift in dramatic presentations away from the customary iterative productions where the fourth wall is regularly deconstructed. Does the shift towards more codified productions with barriers established between the presented world and the actual environment create a more immersive experience? That's what I thought. Don't even bother lying to us. It's clear you're no scholar. He's not the only one who's had to spend some time in hiding in this garden. I, however, did my research. This is clearly creative Yukong, though I'm not sure he's earned his name.
My name is Aishi, the Mournful Blade. And if you are another hunter come to claim my head, I suggest you turn around and walk away.
I would play no games with this woman if I were you.
Her name is Aishi, the Mournful Blade, and you can find her at the Black Leopard School.
I've heard of this Aishi. She's reputed to be deadly and merciless, yet cloaked with deep sadness.
That's where the real money is. Of course, some are sold to private individuals with the means to purchase such luxuries.
This kind of thing cannot be allowed to continue. Slave traders. If there's one thing I can't abide, it's slavers. We have to put an end to their trading. I feel much better knowing those slavers have been shut down. If only I had known you when my daughter was taken from me. The only good thing to come of this is the fact that the slavers are closing their doors. But they'll return. They always do. But you could have stopped them.
There's that, too. Anyone could take offense. Now I'm doubly concerned. I will gladly offer you the going rate for a leading man, just for a walk-on part.
That's a generous offer. Lead roles pay fairly well.
Wariyar, ir sa'ir wiwi pitik.
You'll get more proof than you can handle.
The average citizen of the Empire is worthless. They're nothing more than cattle. In this, they can at least serve some useful purpose.
So the army can grow fast, but under whose authority? I don't approve. Are you certain such an extreme measure is necessary?
Master? Please, we just want to leave this place. No! We must fight! We've traded one villain for another!
A cruel turn. I don't know if it was truly necessary.
What? Thank you. Thank you so much. I knew someone would stop them. Someone kind and honest.
A charitable act. I'm impressed.
The Golden Press is far more dangerous, but I have nothing to do with that ungainly device. I prefer the elegance of ripping slaves apart.
They will be free of your cages. If this really is the Emperor's bidding, he is a true villain.
You, New Blood, get over there and occupy those ghosts until I can get real Lotus assassins to clean them up. Golem production cannot be delayed by this.
A man accustomed to sending others to their deaths. Another manipulator that will not stand on his own. But we need to get close to the assassins. Humor him. I speculate that Master Gong is something of an ass. They are not animals for you to imprison. Random selection. These people have done nothing to deserve this. You are lucky, even if it doesn't seem like it now. One chance is better than nothing, I guess. A cold attitude, but a man has to eat, I suppose. He may have stolen from graves and been a horrible little man, but did he really need to die like this? They already know about you. That means one of two things. Either the princess is exceptionally good at spreading rumors, or they're desperate for new people. This Inquisitor will be more interested in you than he'll let on. I'm not even sure if you needed to talk to Dong Gao to catch his attention. Sorry, I forget myself sometimes. It's just, well, let's not be late for that little meeting at the Flyer. That is the wisest thing you could have said. Especially, well, the Inquisitors are not dealt with lightly. Let's get back to the Flyer as soon as we can.
You there, Sky. I see you skulking around like a ghost. Where have you been?
I've been out spying on the Lotus assassins. We're trying to draw their attention, and I wanted to see if it was working. I'm happy to report our bait has snagged a fish. The Inquisitors have taken notice of us. In fact, one of their representatives is on his way here now.
You were spying on an Inquisitor, and he didn't notice you? Impossible. What's really going on, Sky? Where were you?
It's like I told you before, I was spying on the Lotus assassins. At great personal risk, I might add. Instead of interrogating me, you could show me some gratitude.
The Inquisitors are masters of espionage and intrigue, Sky. They would have seen you tailing them. They would have seen you and killed you.
You underestimate me. I can be quite invisible when necessary. I followed the Inquisitor for some time without him being aware of my presence. Then I slipped away and rushed on ahead to warn you he was coming. I didn't want him to catch us in the middle of anything incriminating, like this argument. Typical. Sowing seeds of distrust in their new recruits. Once we're out of here, let's go tell the others about our success. Be wary. Kai Lan could either be a strong ally or your worst enemy. If anything goes wrong, I'll be waiting with the others, and not far off.
Aren't you a sight? I am Happy Endings, famed courtesan, and it is a pleasure to greet you.
One word. Wow.
She will be dealt with regardless. Why not benefit from our actions and ensure that her removal is clean?
From what I've gathered, the bribes flowing from this place would make telling the officials useless. But what if we told Kana herself? I've missed the city. For everything wrong with the Empire right now, this place reminds me of what we're trying to save. All those nobles with fat purses and thin intellects. I swear, heaven must look like this. A few years ago, there were rumors of conflict in the leadership of the Black Leopard School. There's nothing like being embroiled in a bit of politics to get the blood moving. In 3 years of traveling, I never found a place more lively than the heart of the Empire. It's nice to be back. I always wanted to see the back rooms of this place. Frankly, I expected them to be seedier. I find the scholars endlessly amusing. Talk to a few, and you'll understand what I mean. Well, this is certainly foreboding. You really have to work to get this level of menace into a building. I suppose an emperor deserves a tomb like this, if anyone does, but I'd prefer a simple memorial. This neglect is infuriating. This is the center of the Empire, yet they let it rot from the inside out. Don't underestimate him. Your master is just toying with you. You know what I like about private clubs? The tasteful decor. The Tian's Landing Tea House has a reputation as a rough place. Should be entertaining. Stranded sailors make for rich courtesans. At this rate, these ladies will own half the town before long. Too far to jump. We'll have to find another way. Don't ask me how I know, but there's trouble ahead.
What do you want, Sky? You're watching me very closely and not with the eyes of a friend.
Nothing. I just wanted to know what it felt like to work for Death's Hand. That's right, isn't it? You're one of them?
I was. Do you seek an apology for their actions, or am I just the latest target in your search for vengeance? I have to disappoint you. I will not accept either role.
So you say, but he certainly wears the uniform. Does any of this scare you, Wildflower? You're so young, and our journey is, well, dangerous.
Why would I be scared? I have the Guardian to protect me. I'm always safe with him, and he is always here.
I see. How exactly does it protect you? I use my blades and my wits to keep me safe. Are you sure this Guardian can do the same for you? No, that's quite all right. I can see quite clearly how you would be more than adequate protection. Nice demon. The equipment you carry with you, Kang, it seems quite expensive. Have a stash of silver somewhere, do you?
That's enough of that. I know a look of larceny when I see one. Besides, it will do you no good. With Gao gone, I am between benefactors.
In the past, I've shared the company of others that moved outside traditional paths. But this band of folks is by far the most exotic.
You looked at me as you said that. What are you trying to say, Sky?
Actually, you took it the wrong way around. You seem a bit more conventional than, say, Wildflower or Zoo.
The Guardian says that everyone hides a part of themselves, that they don't always look like what they really are.
I certainly hope that part's in there somewhere.
Really now? I didn't mean to upset anyone. I thought our shared strangeness was fairly obvious. I apologize.
Don't tell him anything. I know you're kind, Sky, pilfering things from honest men, inciting the wrath of their wives. Sure, you help us now, but what chaos will you bring? Constantly. From urchins stealing buns to the theft of an entire oven. The Imperial City is thick with his type.
Well, I assure you I had nothing to do with that, as far as I can remember. The Imperial City, you say? Yes, I'm almost certain that wasn't me.
Of course, I am sorry. I'm sure he won't stoop to stealing from friends.
Of course not. I am shocked at the level of mistrust in this group.
Money is only good for spending, and I let it flow as freely as Gao would allow. He and his allies had extensive resources.
And once we've satisfied our primary goals, hopefully we'll be able to take advantage of that. Look, I didn't mean to say... Anyway, I meant no offense to anyone, and I'll just leave it at that. Fair enough. All I know is that if a dog slips its leash for several months, the owners usually give up looking. Maybe this is your chance.
That is like suggesting the moon might give up its chase of the stars. I have more chance of becoming emperor than of gaining my freedom.
Oh, you're right. I'd be unleashing a monster on an unsuspecting female populace. Hey, Zoo, why exactly are you here? I can't quite figure you out. You're much more of a loner than any of the others.
And you were much more a rogue than you let on. We each have things we keep to ourselves. If I wanted you to know them, you wouldn't have to ask. There's nothing mysterious about it. Our paths lead in the same direction. Anything else we discuss is between you and I. I'll thank you to keep it that way.
As you wish. I was merely curious. Just a little friendly talk between trusting friends. The group could use a little more of it. Dawn Star, that's a very fitting name for you. Bright, cheerful, and beautiful.
That's kind of you to say, Sky, but I fear it is rooted in something far darker.
I show interest in beautiful things. I meant no offense. I just want to learn more about my fellows. This will likely get me into trouble, but I have to ask. Is your wife really that bad, Ho? You must be exaggerating to some degree, right?
I exaggerate nothing, but I will not discuss such things so close to my home here in the city. My watchful wife has habit of appearing when I least expect it.
All right, you two have your little club, but some trust would be good now and then.
What the group needs is not up to you.
When you have a moment, we should talk. Sorry if I was lagging behind. I was lost in my own thoughts, it seems. If you ever have something on your mind, I'm happy to lend an ear. It pains me to see anyone so devoid of free will.
There's always too much talk after a battle. Axes are better than words for deciding things.
Your weapons will see some use soon enough, you oaf. This pathetic whelp deserves no less.
Perhaps it is fortunate that there are others here who may wish to have a say in his fate.
I will speak for myself. No one else has the right to. I am not going to make excuses, but try to understand me, and I will accept whatever comes. Traveling with you, I realized that finding the people who killed my daughter would bring no peace. I had to destroy the power that had led to her death. There was a taint that led from Gao all the way to the Emperor. When even he was gone, someone else claimed the evil for themselves. There is no end. Everyone sought to benefit. Even you seem beyond mortal concerns. When Master Li is gone, will you be any different from him? Destroying the power behind it all began to lose meaning. If avenging my daughter meant nothing, what else could I do to bring her spirit peace? I have seen the evil you are capable of. The binding of Death's Hand is only the latest example. You are not so different from the enemy. I have seen the evil that taints you. Whether you choose to admit it or not, you are closer to the enemy than to the rest of us. Death's Hand spoke of a small hope. If all parts are equal, I began to feel I should help the one that seemed willing to help me. It was a shallow dream. I know it. I always did. But your actions did nothing to counter it. I am weak, but so are you. So is your master. So is everyone. I'm sorry, but I had to try. I await judgment from those I endangered.
You don't wish to hear what led him to this? Perhaps it would be wise, just to ensure it does not happen again.
Then I await your judgment. I will say no more. My words may not be of much value anymore, but I am greatly saddened that Death's Hand stands beside you while I am at your feet.
You earned that place. Death's Hand is a shell to be commanded. There's no question of his loyalty.
I don't care if he goes or stays, but the twisting of a man's soul should not be allowed. Though I am already at your feet, I cannot condone this binding you have done. It would seem the group is somewhat divided on the matter. I don't care what happens to Death's Hand. I should not approve, but our ultimate goal cannot fail for the sake of some petty freedoms. I could suffer the imprisonment of my body, but having my mind taken would be a horror. We have shared so much. Why throw it all away? I only oppose this out of concern for you. You know me. This would be unbearable. Won't you listen to reason?
One must always accept responsibility for what one creates.
And that means he should be killed. It's the only penalty appropriate for what he has done.
He was weak. He has shown regret. Should we be so quick to end his life?
Yes.
I can't agree to that. Imprisonment perhaps, but not death.
I am resigned to whatever you decide. I am at your feet.
This is not wise. He's a proven risk.
While I might not have agreed with execution, I have to say that I don't trust him either.
Bah! Danger in front or danger in back. Only a fool forgets to keep an eye in both directions.
I thank you. I will not let your faith be in vain. Thank you. One day I will earn your trust again. I accept my fate.
Harsh, but perhaps necessary.
I must agree. Who will carry out this sentence?
If this is the way it must be, I am ready. If this is the way it must be, I accept my fate.
Another reason to be rid of you. Only fools accept death willingly. Goodbye, thief.
I hold more pity than hatred for Death's Hand now. He endured this for 20 years. I hold pity for Death's Hand. He endured this for 20 years.
You deserve worse for endangering all of us, for risking the Empire.
I have to agree. You are forever a traitor. We could not have you at our backs unbound. Do you really feel you have to ask? Shouldn't the answer be obvious?
There's no way I'm leaving now.
I think I speak for everyone. We are with you.
I can only come to one conclusion. Lord Lau's furnace.
He's just a legend. Stories of his machines making much-needed lakes and unfortunate mountains are the kind of tale my father loved. But you can't take them seriously.
Here's me.
A turn I was not expecting.
Well, here we are. I'd hoped I wouldn't have to use this entrance again. Keep any pets properly collared. We wouldn't want anyone wandering off.
You are not amusing, Princess.
Yeah, I'm staying here. For safety.
Trust her voice. We need a path through Master Li's corruption.
Trust what you see. Voices can come from anywhere. A pity that the rest of us don't have the luxury of cowardice.
I doubt this visit will be any less violent than the last. We are here. Have you any other directions? Perhaps I should sweep the ground before you walk on it.
Please, Princess. This slavery is bad enough without you making light of it.
I would agree.
We are here. Have you any other directions? Perhaps I should sweep the ground before you walk on it.
That isn't a bad idea, Princess. How many times have you ordered some poor servant to do something similar?
That servant likely had at least the illusion of choice. Into the den of the enemy. I like it. I assume you plan to stay this time.
What? Oh my. It seems we have transported to a heaven. A strangely familiar one for some reason, but I don't recall ever moving to such a place before.
An interesting little device you have there. It could be useful if you could count on your point of arrival, but since you made it, I'll stick to walking. I promised you I wouldn't be a distraction, but I have to say something. You're going to rescue Master Li. I know you'll find a way, but still. You're going to pay back Death's Hand for all that he's done to you, to us. I know you'll find a way, but still. You've been the best of companions, and I've come to value that in ways I didn't expect. You've shown me the value of strength, of finding my enemy's weaknesses before I strike. You're not like anyone else. You fight like a demon, and yet you value honor and harmony. So many people would abuse your skills. Maybe it's those deep eyes or that glorious hair, but when we first met, your beauty ignited me. I find you irresistible. Whenever that beautiful face of yours breaks into a smile, my heart lifts. I was struck when I first saw you. You are a creature of grace. You belong in heaven, not here on earth. When I learned of your nobility, strength, and honor, I knew you were special. Then I saw you fight and learned of your quick mind. I knew you were more than just a pretty face. Then you showed me what it takes to be strong, to take advantage of my enemy's weaknesses, and I knew you were unique. What can I say? Your company brings out the best in me. Think about what you're planning to do. Look, I'm trying to tell you that before you go, I want you to be careful. Well, no, Look, you can't afford to be distracted in there. You go, you win, and we'll deal with this later, I promise. Where do you get that incredible courage? I didn't want to distract you, but you're one step ahead of me, as always. Whatever happens in there, I'll be there for you when this is all over. Thank you. You can count on it. I'm sorry, I'll keep my thoughts to myself. We should get going. Don't worry about me. I'm just a tongue-tied fool today. Let's go. I shouldn't hold you back. You have a long overdue debt to repay.
I am glad to see that Wildflower appears well. It must have been a very disturbing experience.
No more than our own if we don't get moving.
Wildflower looks somehow different. Are you certain she is well?
No worse than the rest of us will be if we don't get moving. We will have to be very careful from here. The assassins in there will be some of the finest warriors in the Empire. Regarding our little talk earlier, I couldn't let you go into that place without saying something. Wait! I couldn't just wait with the others. I'd have worn a trench with my pacing if I didn't talk to you. It seems our crafty friend is one step ahead of us. To clear the way or set the alarm, I wonder. Be on your guard. We cannot know his intent if he is unsure of it himself. I've never encountered someone like you before. We are companions fighting for our lives together, but we could be more. I don't want to talk about it at length right now. You have more pressing things to deal with. But after you're done, we should talk. If anyone can deal with their kind, it's you. But that doesn't mean I could let you go in there without speaking up. Just be careful while you're in there, and don't let them get to you. Remember why you're going in, and get out as soon as you can. I don't know if it was good advice particularly, but I needed to say it. My gut tells me that things won't go smoothly in there. Just be careful. Learning is useless if you're not alive to pass it on. I am. I just have a feeling that something big is going to happen in there. Zoo's sudden disappearance has me worried. I was beginning to think we could trust the man, but the assassins can be most persuasive. Who's to say Zoo isn't preparing a trap for you to earn back favor with his old brethren? I hope for everyone's sake that you are right. He'd be a fool to cross you. How could he expect anything other than your wrath? I'm not sure I expected you to say that, but you're right. Hopefully my instinct is wrong. Regardless, I've said my piece. Come back safe. We wouldn't want to miss our audience with the Emperor. You are very focused on this. I can respect that. It's probably best that I leave you to your own devices from now on and not interrupt. Just hurry. As soon as you get the information Silk Fox needs, we can carry on to the palace and put an end to this. Time for a little adventure. My blades are yours to command. This'll be fun, you and I together. Name it and it's done. This promises to be interesting. Finally a chance to stretch my legs. Whatever you need, I'll be happy to help. Our enemies will fall like leaves in autumn. 3 years. 3 long years of tracing these slavers to their master, only to find that there were more above him. Consolation lies in finding others who share my goals. I didn't expect to be lucky enough to find a friend in this place. I also found a strong ally, but I'm not sure if the greater consolation lies in your ability, determination, or beauty. I look forward to finding out. That makes 2 of us. I'll keep you informed as we deal with Gao's masters. They'll be harder to chase down. Of course, I wouldn't dream of breaking you down into components. Treating people like commodities was Gao's business, not mine. Oh, I never get ideas, only impressions. Don't worry about what I will accomplish. Finding Gao is only the beginning. Why? Because we have succeeded at a goal that I've been working towards for 3 years? I feel fine, but determined. Our work isn't done, but we've taken a small step by removing that stain upon the Empire's honor. Fair enough. Don't worry. I know what lies ahead. I tracked my daughter's killer for 3 years, after all.
Now you look here, Missy. In my day, we respected our elders.
I'm sorry I can't do that voice justice. I'm only, 8 years older than you? Of course, 8 years makes a difference when you lose 3 of them chasing your daughter's killer. Gao's slavers took my daughter, Pin Mei, and I was able to follow them. Fortunately, they didn't cover their tracks. I chased them down, trying to reach her. I was too late. Pin Mei was spirited, and I'm sure she fought them. I believe they decided she was too much trouble and killed her. 5 years old, and they ran her through. I found her dead by the roadside and stopped my pursuit. By the time I cared to continue my chase, the slavers were long gone. It's fine. Thank you for your concern, but for the most part, I've come to terms with her death. There are ways to track men who don't want to be found. It's all a matter of time and dedication. Is that what you're doing, chasing after your master without a thought for the others in your town? Yes, I've heard about the attack. I'm sorry, that wasn't fair. You're right, I could have saved myself 3 years if I just run those bastards down. But why dwell on this? Gao is dead, and perhaps Pin Mei has found some peace. That's what really matters, that and what we still have to accomplish. You're right, but we have to pick our time, and now isn't it. We can talk about this later. We'll talk about Gao later. We have much to do, and none of it'll be accomplished if we stand here hashing over the past. That wasn't my intent. I don't even remember how we got onto the subject of Pin Mei. I almost never talk about her, and then I open up to you and you throw it in my face. Let's just forget it and get on with what we're doing. All right, if you want to bring it up again, it might do me some good to talk. But we do have more important matters right now. I should apologize. I can be sensitive about my daughter, and your comment that I was whining touched a nerve. But I shouldn't have snapped at you. That'd be best. I don't normally hold a grudge. Hunting Gao for 3 years was a unique circumstance. I don't think of you as one likely to accuse me of whining, but we're all full of surprises, aren't we? I'll note that. I wouldn't want you getting too much of an advantage. Your smile's already distracting enough. You have an odd way of handling people, but we all have our quirks. Thank you. I'm pretty resistant to most jokes at my expense, but some subjects. I never really answered your question about how I tracked Gao down. It's not that bad a story if you still want to hear it. I'll make you a deal. If you start to look bored, I'll throw in a Lotus assassin or two to spice things up. I lost the men who murdered my daughter, but there are other ways to track men besides following their footprints, something I know all too well. 8 years ago, when my wife passed away giving birth to Pin Mei, I decided to settle down. Before that, my life was less stable. You should have seen Pin Mei's mother fight. We met because we both like to operate outside the law. Curses, you've uncovered my secret. Actually, the truth isn't far off. My wife and I met because we both operated outside the law. Not every girl likes pompous nobles or stuffy scholars. She and I saw eye to eye on many things, including living life to the fullest. You would have liked her if you'd met her, as long as she wasn't slipping through the upper window of your house to steal all your valuables. You remind me of her, though she was flighty where you're intense, and she fought with nothing approaching your skill. You also don't burgle people's houses. Not really. She was a wonderful woman, but she was taken from me long ago. I meant the comparison as a compliment. I called in a lot of favors tracking down Gao, but you never know. As I followed the trail of various slave trading rings, I started seeing connections. Strangely enough, all of them seemed tied to the Lotus assassins. They would observe, they would ask the same questions I had, but they did nothing. Every slave trading ring I saw, the assassins were at least aware of. Apparently not. They seemed to be aware of all of these slave rings, and yet they did nothing about them. I started drawing conclusions, and when I heard that Gao the Greater was dealing heavily with them, I started looking into him. By approaching it from the top down, assassins to Gao to slavers, I managed to piece together his involvement and learn the location of his base. I don't have the answer to that, though I'd very much like to know. If they support these slavers. My home was not far from Tien's Landing, so I'm certain that it was Gao's men who took my daughter. Meeting you and being given this chance to take the fight higher, I'm glad I chased that bastard down. It's good to be here. There's much ahead of us, but at least we have allies and friends. That'll make the road easier. Speaking of which, we should keep moving, don't you think? You're right. We should keep moving while we still have surprise on our side. I know. There's some peace in Gao's death, but not enough. People are still being taken as slaves, and much worse happening in this empire. I won't forget that. Fair enough. Ask me later if you still want to hear about it. If you're not interested, that's fine by me. We have plenty of other things to do than stand around and talk. We were talking about Gao earlier, but now isn't really the time to finish that conversation. Things ended on a sour note anyway. Let's let that moment pass before we return to the subject. Give me a bit to digest what's happened, and then I promise to regale you with the story of how I found him. Always happy to help. What do you need? Sagacious Zeus sacrificed himself so that you could continue. That reminded me how dangerous our task truly is. I hope so too. He certainly earned a reprieve, if only from hating himself so much. I don't think you would have survived Death's hand. Even if you had, would you be in any shape to face his master, the Emperor? You're growing stronger. You learn new styles with ease and fight like no one I've seen. Your master obviously trained you well, but you've come a long way even since we met. It's true, though half of them have come from watching you, and the rest are the result of being desperate to survive, if only to see what happens next. Would you have kept me around if I hadn't? If we're going to depend on each other, we have to be strong. I'm not sure about that. A skilled master is more interested in ensuring that his pupils learn how to learn rather than drilling them in basic moves. I agree. If you had been released from the confinement of Two Rivers sooner, you would be even stronger. I know. Despite the temptations before you, your skills are guided by a sense of honor that would humble sagacious Tien. I can imagine. Your capacity for learning new styles and refining those you know is almost superhuman. I would not wish to stand in your way, that's for certain. I'm quite sure I'll make a point eventually. I usually do after I dance around it for a while, don't I? I forget how you value direct speech. I won't in the future. I know this seems a strange thing to ask now of all times, but do you ever wonder what you'll do after we rescue your master? I have my own ideas, but I'd be interested in hearing yours. I'd rather hear what you have to say, unless you're going to insist. What about your master? What do you think will happen with him? That may prove difficult, but I can think of no one more up to the task. I would hope you'd be at his side. That would make you the second most powerful man in the Empire. With yourself at his side, I hope, you would be the most powerful woman in the Empire. I've wondered the same thing, but your master is a strong man. You're right, but the longer Dawnstar deludes herself, the more useful she will be to the group. Are you sure? Master Li's blood runs the same color as the Emperor's. Still, you know him best. Depending on what it takes to rescue Master Li, that may leave an empty throne in the Imperial Palace. That situation is ripe with opportunity for us all. That's fair. Personally, I have high hopes that we will find a way to save your master. I understand. I think we'll be too late to save your master. This will turn into a search for vengeance before the end. I would keep that from Dawnstar, though. She'll be more useful to you if she thinks there's still hope for Master Li. What about you? Where do you see yourself? Your students would be rich in skill and spirit from the lessons you could teach. If your students learned even a tenth of your skill, they would be strong. You could also find an army of highly trained, devoted followers if you were so inclined. No one knew much about them even when they were around to ask. Your task would not be easy. But it would be rewarding, and perhaps you could find answers to questions you didn't even know you had. They must have possessed great magics to work with the water dragon. If you could master their secrets, the earth would tremble where you walk. A shining blade of vengeance, cutting out the dark heart of this empire. The poets will never forget you. I was hoping you would say that. Those who stand in our path deserve no better. Some sort of holiday? A break from the drudgery of fighting the Empire? You'd get bored. Depending on the rogue, you may lose an opportunity to take advantage of the Empire's turmoil. I can only hope this fellow is possessed of remarkable stamina. I can't imagine you settled for long. Depending on the rogue, you may find he thinks that settling would waste your talents and opportunities for the future. I wouldn't presume to know what you will do next, but I know you will follow the path of honor, whatever that requires. I wouldn't guess at what you will do, but I know you will be better for the experience. If we haven't already, I know you will avenge the insult the Lotus Assassins have dared to heap upon you. Allow me a prediction, if you will. You're not usually so closed about your goals, but I can respect that. If you'll permit me, I can make a few guesses. Someday I'll enter into your confidence, but for now I can respect your privacy. Would you permit me to hazard a few guesses? I have high hopes that we will find a way to save your master. We both suspect that we will be too late to save your master. This will turn into a search for vengeance. I do not think we will all survive, not against these odds, but those of us who do will find a way to return to our normal lives. Whatever your ambitions, those of us strong enough to survive what's ahead will follow you to the end. When you think about it, that leaves only the question of us, doesn't it? That's the tricky one. Yes, I do. We've talked long enough. As it stands, I'm going to have to listen to Whirlwind's lewd innuendos for the next 2 days at least. I want nothing more than to carry this conversation to its logical conclusion, but we've stood apart from the others long enough. If I have to listen to that Whirlwind oaf make one lewd comment, I swear I'll strangle him with his own intestines. Given what we're facing, I don't know if we should go further with this until you rescue your master. The last thing you need is a distraction. Good. I'll look forward to, after. Trust me, you're not the only one, but you can't afford distractions right now. There will be time later. There you have it, the easiest answer of this entire journey. Stupefyingly simple. I have you covered there, Master. Yes, only a fool. We should carry on, don't you think? You have great things ahead of you. Let's go see what they are. Understood. I'll do my best not to bother you in the future. I haven't been to the Imperial City in a while. I traveled here some time ago in my hunt for Gao. In fact, this is where the hunt began. I've come full circle, and I think it's time to let go of the past and look forward. We have exciting things ahead of us. There's no point in living in the past either. More pressing and more dangerous. What we're attempting, it's madness, all the more exciting. There won't be much time for that sort of diversion, but I can't help see the potential. You were the one who asked me if I had anything to say. Perhaps you should stay focused on finding your master. I'd hate to be a distraction. In my heart, I know my daughter rests as easily as any spirit now. Whatever happens, I have that. And if we succeed, I know she finds peace. If I could go back, I don't know if I would. I'm a different man now, and while I treasure the past, I look forward to the future with the same warmth. Bah, we'll find a way through any troubles. We're too resourceful to roll over and die. Besides seeing what trouble you get yourself into next, you mean? Never. You left out the part about accumulating vast sums of ill-gotten silver. If I tire you so, I swear this is the last you will hear about this. You know, I look forward most to the day when I figure out how to deal with you. A woman as strong as she is beautiful is rare, but I've encountered that combination before. Normally, I try to flatter you into my bed, but you're better than that. You're a companion and a damn skilled warrior, so I find I never quite know how to deal with you. See, now you're flirting with me, and I'm left here stammering. Where's the fun in that? As I said, I love a challenge. It's the truth, plain and simple. Am I? Drat, I don't even know anymore. Like I said, consistently off balance. I don't deny your beauty. I just don't want to treat you like I would other women. I respect you, and, well, let's just leave it at that for now. I'm excited to be back in the city. It feels like we're one step closer to our goal, but you know that better than anyone. You brought us to this point after all. Who else could have gathered this crew or found such a quick way out of Tien's Landing? With your charms, any sane man would have. Then again, no sane man would be attempting what we're about to, so you can draw your own conclusions. I'm serious about you being the reason we're all in this, though. Somehow, the impossible doesn't seem that far off when you're here. How do you manage that kind of humility? Some sort of special training? And there you have it. A simple answer is usually the best. It's good to see you still have a sense of humor. Some people mistake dry and boring for humble, and that's simply no fun. Given what we face, we need all the laughter we can get. That is your way. For my sake, I hope my strength never falters when you need it. You don't usually evaluate people like that, but it's good to know you find my aid valuable. I know about your history, your heritage, but does it bother you? Is it something you wish weren't part of your life? No, I take no offense, and every answer you find seems to leave only more questions. Perhaps the city will be more enlightening. Regardless, we have an empire to shake up. I'm not sure I understand all the pressures you face, but I'll do what I can to aid you. For one thing, the city awaits us. Some would shy away if presented with your situation, but you embrace it. This city is in for quite a surprise now that you've arrived, I wager. Let's go see how much trouble we can cause. If you want to talk more, we should do so later. I'd like that. But we should go see how much trouble we can cause in the big city. My apologies. I'll keep such pryings to myself. After all, we're too busy for idle talk. I hear and obey. I shall reserve my tales for those who wish to hear them. What we face will not be easy. Whenever you need me, just call, and I will fight by your side. Companions to the end. We will put an end to the wrongs in this world. Dawnstar has been telling me about Two Rivers, the swamp, and Gao the Lesser. I was sorry to hear about your town. You're a woman with a knack for finding trouble. I didn't say it was a bad thing. We're kindred spirits, you and I. You'd be bored and then complacent. The magical spark in your eyes would dim and you'd grow old. That's not really what you want. Stirring the pot just to see what's at the bottom, are you? It's amazing how your eyes dance when you're thinking about causing a ruckus. Perhaps not the same words, but I'm as guilty as the stable boy in his mistress's bed. In your case, though, I'm making an observation of fact. I was sorry to hear about your town and your friends. It brought a question to mind. There's something I've been meaning to ask you. Why? Seriously, why are you doing this? Details aside, you're fighting the Empire as a whole when you oppose the Lotus Assassins, Death's Hand, or the Emperor's will. I know all about your village and your master, and that explains some of it. What it doesn't explain is your drive, your strength. What gives you that? I wonder if fate cast this burden upon you, or if you rose up on your own to shoulder it. History will probably decide. A village was destroyed just to capture one man. You're right, that loss was unnecessary and unforgivable. Revenge, then? Or perhaps the thought that there's still more to learn by walking this path? I know you're going to follow Silk Fox's plans to find a way into the assassin's den. It won't be easy, but I'm confident we'll succeed. It's what happens after you find a way in that has me worried. What can I say? You're a source of constant excitement in my life. I'd hate to lose that. All kinds. Trust me. Let's not get too far off topic, though. This is important. I know, but never in their lair, never in that place. I can imagine that might just be the case. I knew men and women who were drawn to the Lotus Assassins. They went into that place to prove themselves, as you intend to. And the few who made it back out were different. True enough, you're more likely to take over than kowtow to their demands. That's reassuring to hear. I'm afraid of what would happen if they convinced you that their way is right. They acted like they didn't know us, or just didn't care if we lived or died. It's hard to say if there's even a difference to the Lotus Assassins. I know, there's nothing common about you, but still. That's true. It is impressive. If the novices were stronger, they wouldn't buy into the dogma. I'm not sure if I agree. People work best when they do something they want to do, not something they're forced to do. I know you'll be fine. The assassins will be lucky if you don't bring the place down around their ears. Just be sure not to tip your hand before you're ready. That's all in the future, though. We should keep at what we're doing. There's a lot left to tackle before we're done. Understood. You're more than able to make your own decisions. Just make sure you're doing this for the right reasons. There is one thing that's been puzzling me. No, it's nothing. We have things we should do instead of wasting time talking. This could be a delicate subject, so stop me if I say anything out of line. It's just that Silk Fox is obviously attracted to you, but you don't seem all that interested. And then there's Dawn Star, who's clearly... She idolizes you, and yet there's nothing between you. Is there some reason? Thank you for the candid answer. Me? You mean... I wondered. It wasn't just the princess or Dawn Star. You came and spoke to me often, certainly about nothing this important, but... I'm not quite sure how I feel right now, but you've certainly given me something to think about. I've never met someone like you, and that's maybe a place to start. I need to think about this privately for a little while. We'll talk later. You enjoy this, don't you? You like to twist people to see what it'll take to make them snap. I didn't expect that from you. You're not normally one to... I'm going to pretend this conversation simply didn't happen. To do anything else would force me to stalk away and never come back. You're wise beyond your years, my friend. There are times when love can complicate things immensely. I'm sorry, I just wondered if... Well, it's nothing. Fair enough. The last thing I need is to be equated with the mad inventor. There's adventure to be had, and we should get back to it. We have to stay focused if we're going to get through this alive. Frankly, I'd like to see the end of this little escapade. I believe we have an appointment with the Emperor, by invitation of his daughter, no less. Unless you have other things to finish, I see no reason to keep him waiting. Emperors hate to be disappointed. I don't know about you, but if a member of the Imperial family were leaving me gifts, I'd be mighty curious to learn more. Then again, the Scholar's Garden is full of more hot air than some flyers, so I can understand your reluctance to rush there. You managed to satisfy the Lotus Assassins, and that's a major step forward. I just worry that it's a step over the edge of a precipice. Despite my misgivings, I can't help but smile at the thought that you're the reason they're so keen to acquire new recruits. Nothing like thinning the ranks to make some room. I never expected to see the inside of this place, and frankly, I wish I hadn't. I will give the assassins this, though. They sure know how to decorate to a theme. Well, let's see if I can break it down for you. We're desperately trying to impress the people who are trying to kill you and who kidnap your master. That, of course, will allow us to enter the heart of their lair, where we can acquire highly sensitive evidence against the most dangerous man in the Empire. If we were anyone else, I'd say we were doomed, but hey, we got me. I'll be honest, I can't think of anything I haven't said already. Of course, I'll be here if you need anything. I have no illusions that you might not cast me aside. For all my skills, all my charms, I am nothing compared to what you are and what you might become. It's a risk I'm willing to take. I appreciate the sentiment, but we both know that you are the superior in this relationship. I will find a way to prove my worth to you, whatever it takes. Ha! I would have deluded myself into thinking you would be fair about things and let me stand beside you just because. Now I know you'd be a fool to do that, which is why I will do all I can to prove my worth at your side. I hope to do so at least once more. Your master must be cast aside so that you can finish this. The Empire will be yours. Then let us pass it with flying colors. Your master will regret the basics he drilled so carefully into you. We'll make sure of it. You know there will be. We will wrest time from heaven itself if we have to. This journey began with loss for everyone. I think it's time to put that to a stop. You know it. Let's finish this. Let's keep moving. We'll deal with Jia first, then we discuss what we've learned. I'm all for keeping the lines of communication open, but let's wait until we're clear of these falling rocks. Very little, I'm afraid. I wish I could be of more help. I was just thinking that we should keep at finding a way to the Imperial Palace. Always, but the bigger concern is your time. We should make our way to the Imperial City as quickly as we can. Let's focus on getting there for now. At this exact instant? I'm sorry, but if I'm going to be honest, and I think that honesty is the best policy here, then I can't tell you. You inspire the occasional distracted moment, and who am I to fly in the face of decorum? Probably, though I have high hopes that one day I'll rectify that situation. Only time will provide a solution. We'll just have to wait and see how things turn out. Maybe a little of both. We'll just have to wait and see how the cards fall, won't we? Good point. Still, there are some things better left unsaid. It makes them that much more intriguing. I'll never tell. If I did, you'd stop doing whatever it is, wouldn't you? That would be a shame. Oh, it wasn't that bad. Well, it was a little bad, but I couldn't resist teasing you. It's not that I don't want to talk, but I know time is of the essence, and I'd hate to hold you up. I'd be more comfortable if we made some more progress towards the palace before I use up any more of your time with my thoughts. We should keep moving. It would be most impolite to miss an appointment with the Emperor himself. We'll have more time to talk once we see the lay of the land in the city. Do what you have to and let's get back to the palace. I don't want to lose the element of surprise entirely. It's not so much strange as it is intriguing. Something's on your mind? Of course, I was just thinking about things. Gao richly deserved his death, but I'm not sure I ever really expected it to happen. Yes, I'd welcome the chance. When you say the word, we're ready to leave. I'm looking forward to seeing the Imperial City again. I appreciated the hectic pace when I was there. When we reach the Imperial City, we'll have a whole host of new problems. You have to love a challenge. I only spent enough time in Tian's Landing to learn the location of Gao the Greater's stronghold. It's a nice enough place, though they're still adjusting to the flooding of the old town some years ago. This forest was once one of the most beautiful in the Empire. In the past few months, it has grown sickly, and the roads through it are closed. No one is sure if ghosts are to blame for the disease, but they swarm among the dark trees, making travel through the forest next to impossible. These ruins were the original Tian's Landing, before the dam's construction flooded them. That pretty much exhausts my knowledge of the area. Always happy to help. I was thinking about a story my father once told me. He was a scoundrel, but he could spin a fine yarn when he wasn't robbing caravans. Have you ever heard the tale of the Eternal Companions? I hear they have ageless courtesans in heaven. That's probably why the celestial bureaucracy's so inefficient. But in this case, they're not quite that kind of companion. This is a legend that's endured over 1,000 years. You should venerate its legacy, or at least give it a moment's listen. The Eternal Companions were a group of warriors that traveled the ancient kingdoms, well before the formation of the Empire. They were said to be giants, to know styles no one could match, and to always appear to offer their services to a kingdom when times were worst. The tales are too fantastic to be accurate. Though I'm sure the Black Whirlwinds tried at least once, no one can actually cleave a mountain in two. You'd be stunned how much swill it takes to entertain your average peasant. None of the really ancient stories are true. What made me bring this up was just a simple thought. Were these companions real people once? Were they just like us? Something tells me they were, but not in the way you'd expect. You know how legends tend to grow in the telling? I think they also absorb other tales as they go. I doubt it. For instance, we have yet to wipe out a rival kingdom. Failing that, I'm a bit shy of 12 feet tall. I can imagine worse things. But then the old saying goes that it's better to have people wonder why a monument wasn't built in your honor than have them wonder why it was. The point is that when things are wrong, people believe that someone will do something about it. Whether we succeed or not, we are those someones right now. More importantly, you're the someone. You're the real reason we're together, and I worry about how much of this rides on your shoulders. You're important to me in many ways. I just want you to know that I'll do anything I can to help. Anything. Just ask. You're welcome. Well, that would be terribly out of character, wouldn't it? No. No changes are planned on my end. We'll talk again soon, I promise. For now, let's get back to it. Your desire is my command, or in this case, it isn't. Something like that, anyway. I will admit that I have feelings for you, but I'm sure you noticed. It's nothing I won't get over, give or take 30 years. I walked into that one, I suppose. I didn't really expect... well, that's fine. I'm not sure I had much more to say. Come on, let's get back to what we were doing. What I'm really trying to say is that I know this can't be easy for you, but I will stand beside you, whatever comes our way. Of course, it's the least I can do. I'll do anything I can to help you. I promise. Maybe we'll talk again later if you'd like. For now, let's just get back to what we were doing. Oh, is that so? I recall a few times my blades managed to take a few of our foes out of your way. It doesn't matter just so long as they fall, right? Let's carry on. I'm sorry to tuck your ear off. What I'm really trying to say is that we're all with you until this thing is finished. I just hope you can draw some strength from that. Anytime. I hate to wax morbid, but this is serious business. Agreed. There is much to do. Things will only get tougher from here on out. Whether you think you need us or not, we'll be there. Now, shouldn't you be talking to Dawn Star instead of me? I've seen the way that girl looks at you, and she deserves a little attention. Now, shouldn't you be talking to Her Highness instead of me? She has more than a passing interest in you, if you ask me. Let's get back to it. As much as I appreciate your company, there's some big things ahead of us, and you have others who deserve your attention more than I do. Right. I'll try to guard my tongue from here on out. I wouldn't want to distract you. Please accept my apologies. It won't happen again. We need to get back to the others so we can deal with what we know now. Careful out here. There's no telling what the collapsing fortress has stirred up. Lead on. I will follow. What choice do I have? Master Li must sense that his death is coming. Make sure he suffers. Don't worry, love. You will win this day. Be strong, my spirit monk. You can do this, and we'll help you however we can. Don't worry, I'll be here with you, whatever happens. Let's finish this. Your master grows stronger by the minute. You seem at peace with the world now. I suppose what you've been through could do that to a person. You're right. We're going to deal with Master Li. Let's make sure it's for the right reasons. It seems hard to hang on to anger right now, but we must deal with your former master. He must pay for what he has done. I agree with you, though. Let's deal with him for the right reasons. I suppose I wasn't. Even in my darkest rage, I wouldn't have said that. You're right, about everything. Anger makes me no better than your master. Pinmay. Damn, you're right. I'd grown accustomed to seeing the world as a struggle, but what you say makes perfect sense. I'm sorry, I just can't get past what your master has done, what he tried to take from us. Just remember, some of the others may not see your goals in the same light. Dawn's star leaps to the front of my mind, but the others as well. The only thing that really matters is that you made it back to me. I knew even death wouldn't stop you, my last spirit monk. If you can tell me, I want to hear all about it, in a bit. No, I made that mistake once, never again. I never did say what I wanted to before the palace, you know? You had the courage to say what I wanted to, but I wasn't able to reply, not properly. Actually, you did know, and you told me so, which was kind. Of course you did. You even gave me a second chance to spit it out. When I heard you were... I knew I'd missed my chance to tell you I had fallen in love with you. I would never have expected this, but you and we're more than companions. I didn't get a chance to tell you that. That you were in my every thought, that whenever I could I kept you in my sight just to know you were there, that you had become everything. When you fell, it was like a part of me shattered. I thought that peace would be broken forever, but we have another chance. I love you, and I never want to let you go. That I'm in love with you? Gladly. But there's something we should do first. Come here. I was just getting to that part, but as my lady wishes... Absolutely. It's quiet tonight. It won't last. Your master has already unleashed his hounds. At least we got here first. I don't like to think of you walking out of that gate and into their arms. I would need a dastardly clever plan to get you out of that. The slaughter might have put Whirlwind to shame if I had to fight my way to you. I thought about a discussion earlier. Remember, I was asking you about the future and what you wanted for yourself when all this was done. You talked about starting a school and finding some peace there. It might seem strange, but I think you're the kind of person who would fight for that peace. You wanted to learn more about your people, remember? That clicked when Dawn Star mentioned Dirge, and I knew you were fighting your way back. You swore you wouldn't rest until you destroyed those responsible for what had happened. You were joking when you said you'd try and settle down with some dashing rogue, but since then, you've seemed more serious. I remember you saying you wanted to rest after all this ended. Somehow, I suspected you wouldn't consider what happened, the end. When Dawn Star began having visions, I just knew that you were fighting your way back. What else could she be seeing? So we followed, and here we are, with the new Emperor's army on the way. I don't know how we'll survive, but we'll find a way. Since you've returned, you're stronger than you ever were before. There's no denying the truth of what you say. You're so angry when you say that. There's no more hope for your master in your eyes? I mean, he must be stopped, but... Then you shall have it. Sun Li will pay for trying to take you away from me. You're right. If he would do that to his own student, then I can't imagine what he would do to the Empire. We will stop him, if it takes tearing his heart out. You're right. He really was behind it all, wasn't he? Damn him, if only we'd known. Oh well, this new Emperor will learn his lesson soon enough. I understand how you feel, but I won't give up hope for your master just yet. Whatever it takes, I'll be there with you until the end. When we followed, I knew there was still a chance that you'd come back for revenge. When you're ready, I'll stand beside you. We will crush Emperor Li, and if you want his power, I will be there to help you take it. I have noticed something different about you. No less skill or determination, but less of an edge. Sorry for being late. I went down the mountain to scout them out. I figured I could get a good estimate of how many were coming and get back here. It didn't work out like I planned. There are Lotus assassins by the score, and golems too. You didn't bury them all. They have a lot more. Imperial Army flyers in the distance, too. They'll be here soon. Yes, we must. The golems are not just the ones you saw before. Bigger ones, giants, siege golems. Yes, but the bridge must be destroyed. These golems are big, giants, siege golems. We won't have much choice about that if we don't deal with the bridge. The golems are huge, giants, siege golems.
But what about the rest of us? Why just send them? Why are we sitting here holding our... Oh, I get it. They're coming here too, aren't they?
Well, who? The Lotus Assassins? But they'd have to fly to get past the wall, and the winds are too strong.
Hundreds may die in crashes, but a few will get through. Do you really think Death's Hand minds such losses? My wounds will make me a burden if I stay at your side. I will keep guard over the temple itself. Groups landing there should be small enough for me to handle. Kang, old friend, I'd like to borrow a few of your marvelously explosive casks. I have something special in mind for any assassins who breach our lines.
What? Yes, whatever you want. I have enough on my mind.
But the water that flows from me now sustains the Empire. If you poison my body, you poison wherever that water flows. You would taint the heart of the Empire.
No matter the cost, even if you destroy that destiny, you can't truly be considering this. You would try to walk with the gods? This is the arrogance we have been fighting. No!
This can't be right. Not after everything we have done. I will not allow it.
Fighting in the heart of the palace. I never thought I would visit, and now I'm storming its walls for the second time.
It is not a task I wanted, but we have no choice.
To show such disrespect, where would they take the Empire from here? I have never seen such a sight. I never imagined. Every freedom I cherish is violated by this. There can be no doubt that this calls for vengeance. There was no other reasonable response to such an abomination. Such power wasted. No one involved deserved it. I do not think the mind of a mortal was meant to hold such ability. With this power, you would never suffer the will of another tyrant. Well said. This creature merely wants its own lofty place restored. Power can force a lot of freedom. I am with you. You are a far greater evil than I imagined. My mistake was ever giving my loyalty in the first place. No, must I be bound while this happens? I would fight. I cannot let this stand. I will fight you. Of course you won't dirty your hands on such vermin. The concerns of an empire must take priority. I await your worst. I do so love your willingness to get dirty. I have no choice, though I know I will not win. Come. I like it. Even though they have been disloyal, they will help in your cause. Do not do this. I want no part in what you are doing. A fitting end. His fall will aid in the defeat of those who made him. You again show the rewards of loyalty to your cause. Does this amuse you, or is he simply the easiest to abuse? Better than what? Free choice? You could force improvements. There would be no more tyrants. A core of evil threw them all, but he constructed the path they took. They pushed their grasp too far. Now that mistake has come back to them. I am ready, but I do not know how effective I will be. I did not fare so well against the last emperor. Soon everything will be right again, and no one will be able to tell you otherwise. You will have the strength to enforce freedom. This was nearly overwhelming. My eyes were not meant to see such things. We will try. There is nothing else we can do. I want to help. You still decide my actions. Guide me into this last fight. If safety were my only concern, I would not be anywhere near here. This event will be decided by actions, not orders. Lead us. I feel so useless, like walking beside a giant. Please, I don't want to talk. My head moves as you direct, but that makes you a master, not a friend. Yes, I was a bit of a fool to let you get so close to me. You were special to me. Now I don't know you. My heart is no longer yours, regardless of how you direct my body. If I am merely a toy, perhaps payment should be arranged. I have never forced my will on anyone. You really know very little about me, and I did not know you. I do not look forward to your next visit. You expected otherwise? How would you react to being manipulated? Perhaps by striking back, even across the Empire. How like your master you have become. If you think my reaction to this is a surprise, you know very little about me. Imprisonment, even death, is almost preferable to losing all control. I cannot atone for my deeds if I am not allowed to act. You compound my shame by not giving me the chance to correct what I have done. After what we've been through together, you must know that this is unbearable. I am sorry. I did not understand how deeply you have been scarred by betrayal and treachery. You are becoming just like your master. You collar those who would be friends so that they have no chance to oppose you. That is not strength, that's fear. I do not know who you have become. When this is all done, will the people of the Empire recognize you as one of their own, or just another tyrant? Was it? If you believe that, then you truly do not understand the depth of my shame for my actions. It would seem that you do not understand me, or the shame I now feel because of this imprisonment. There was a time I kept thoughts of you very close to my heart. Now I want you out. I wish you would, but I feel your mind within me. We are a long way from the farm I once called home. I never thought I would make such a journey. But you have shown me what power can bring. The closer we get to our goal, the more intrigued and excited I am at your potential. The toy you have taken is interesting too. It is a shame that Dawnstar and the princess could not appreciate the value of having Death's hand as a puppet. Time? Of course. Who would dare stop us? If you will it, it will be. Anything else would be unbearable. I can't even begin to think about what we will do after this is finished, but I want whatever it is to keep us together. And many of those who have fallen deserve to do so, but there will come a time when all the tyrants will be gone. I hope your rage will depart with them. Yes, the old oppressors must be ousted. Then you will have enough power to enforce the freedom that people deserve. Such anger in your voice. When this is all done, I will help you enjoy some simpler things. Your burden is too great. I will help you carry that weight, but I'm not sure how much use I can be. I will stand by you. Once the corruption is excised, the Jade Empire will be a blank slate, my friend. You seem poised to take control of the Empire. Power brings freedom, and I will be there to do what I can. Nothing can move me from your side. No matter what comes, I will be there for you. I will be ready. Rely on it. It is a shame you could not take Death's hand for your own. But I suppose it is best to cast off old enemies whenever possible. I am sorry for the pain I caused you. I risked everything. I will not take this new opportunity you have given me for granted. Your master is a formidable opponent. We cannot leave the Empire in his hands.